Take one look at Jeff Bezos these days, and you might mistake him for a bouncer at your local nightclub. But behind those muscles and that stare is the mastermind that created Amazon. He's known for many things, including a laugh that's, well, memorable. But behind that laugh lies a mind that's transformed how we shop online. Jeff and his approach at Amazon has always been about one specific thing: customer obsession. Yep, it sounds a bit creepy, but it's actually one of the things that's powered Amazon to where it is today. And here's some great news. As Etsy sellers, there's actually some fantastic lessons that we can learn from Jeff's approach. So in this video, we're going to explore 4 different things that we can learn from Jeff Bezos when it comes to customer obsession. And we'll also take a look at some practical tips and steps that we can take to implement those into our Etsy stores. Let's dive in. It's 1994 and Jeff Bezos kicks off Amazon from his garage, selling just books. Fast forward to today, and Amazon is now the go-to platform for, well, basically anything. And how did he do it? Well, lots of different reasons, but one of the things that stands out to me is that Jeff often goes on about something he calls customer obsession. It's even one of the leadership principles at Amazon. For him, this means more than just making customers happy. It means making them the heartbeat of the business. His game plan has always been about getting in the customer's head and really understand what it is that they're looking for. It's a mix of forward-thinking, top-notch service and building a brand that's a bit like a magnet. Customers are always wanting to come back. And I think there's a lot that we can learn from this as Etsy entrepreneurs. Lesson number 1 is to put customer experience over absolutely everything. Amazon's website is so user-friendly, it practically does the shopping for you, which is a bit scary. Think about your Etsy store as if it's your first date with a customer. You want to make a great first impression, be easy to get along with, and also want them to come back for more. There's a couple of ways in which you can do this as an Etsy seller. First up is to make your store really easy to navigate. You know how sometimes you walk into a clothing store and you can usually quite quickly figure out where the different items are in that store? That's essentially what you want to replicate in your Etsy shop. You want to make sure that your Etsy shop is an absolute breeze to navigate, a bit like walking through your favorite local boutique. To do this, I would definitely recommend making the most of the sections that you have available to you in Etsy. There's different ways for you to organize your sections in a logical way, but I want you to put yourself in your customer's shoes. If they land on your storefront in Etsy, where is it that you believe they're going to likely want to navigate to? So maybe you want to have a look at organizing and categorizing your items by product type, such as mugs, shirts, sweatshirts. Maybe instead you want to organize them by theme. So for example, if I have a sports shop, maybe organizing them by type of sports. This way you're making it very easy for the customer to be able to navigate your store without getting a headache. Also, you want your product presentation to be absolutely spotless. So I would encourage you to invest a lot of time in creating really fantastic photo cards for all of your listings. This is essentially your storefront. It's the first thing that customers see, and it's your opportunity to shine. You want your product listings to not only entice the customer, but also educate them. And this is your opportunity to do that. It's a bit like telling a story through your products. And lastly, when it comes to prioritizing customer experience, make sure that you have crystal clear policies in your Etsy store. First, make sure that the policies section in your Etsy store is actually accurately filled out. What I then also like to do is actually re-emphasize important policy points in my store throughout my listings as well, to really help the customer understand them. So for example, if you have a no returns policy, making that very crystal clear throughout the listings. So you could potentially use your listing descriptions or maybe even the photo cards to highlight these important points so that customers aren't surprised by them. Lesson number 2 is to become a customer service master. Even Amazon, with its army of drones and algorithms, they're not immune to mistakes. The trick is in how you handle them, with quick responses, solutions, and sincere apologies really being the secret sauce there. So what can we learn as Etsy sellers? Well, first off, be timely about your responses to customer requests. If a customer reaches out to you with an issue or a complaint, be sure to respond to them as promptly as possible. I would also recommend, as difficult as it can be sometimes, to always keep a smile on that face and to always respond with positivity, showing that you care and understand what it is that the customer is requesting from you. To help speed this process up in the future, you can actually set up canned responses or templated messages directly within Etsy so that you can create some responses to questions that maybe get asked a little bit more frequently. So I would definitely recommend that you take a look at doing that. It can be a big time saver further down the line, and that you're responding with a consistently positive mindset. You also want to try and be proactive about managing these issues, essentially trying to catch them before they actually happen. So have a look through any previous conversations you've had with customers and try to see if there's any patterns there in terms of what kind of feedback or issues they're addressing with you. And then once you have that information, go away and have a think about how you can maybe address these proactively with your products going forward. For example, if you're selling t-shirts with prints on them and you sometimes get complaints from customers saying that the print looks a little bit more faded than expected, then something you could do to proactively warn customers about this is to adjust your design mockups accordingly, and also make customers aware that the print may look a little bit more faded than expected in your photo cards and in your description. This way, you're being proactive rather than reactive. If you like what you're seeing so far and you feel like you're learning something, I'd really appreciate it if you'd click that like button below. And if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe my channel. Lesson number 3 is to become a guru at understanding customer needs. Jeff Bezos has always been well known for being a step ahead, almost as if he's reading the customers' minds. He's been amazing not only at understanding, but also anticipating what the customer needs, oftentimes even before they even click on the search bar. Now, you might not have Jeff's mind reading skills, but there's definitely some learnings that we can take from this that we can then apply to our Etsy store. First, you can develop and adapt your products based on customer insights. Get your microscope out and analyze your store. Which items are selling? Which items aren't? Once you understand this, you can then innovate your product line so that they're more in line with what your customers are actually looking for. For example, if you're selling a shirt with a fishing design on it and it's extremely popular, maybe you want to explore expanding this line into other products or other fishing designs, for example. You also need to pay really close attention to customer feedback and the ratings you get. And by that, I don't mean just having a look if you've got 1 star or 5 stars. I mean diving into understanding exactly what it was that the customer was either really happy about or unhappy about. For example, if you sell mugs and you do an analysis and you see that your black mugs are on average getting more low reviews than your white mugs, that's something you maybe need to look into in a bit more detail. Have a look into what the root cause behind that issue could be so that you can hopefully eliminate that for the future. And lastly, if you really want to be a pioneer in your space and stay ahead of the curve, you need to actually put the work into researching what is going on in the market around you. You want to keep up to date with the latest and greatest in your industry or niche. For example, you could do some research to understand new trending designs, new trending styles, and then taking your learnings away and trying to experiment with designing and creating new product lines that match those new trends. You just need to trust your gut and give it a try. And our last lesson from Jeff is to focus on building long-term customer relationships. Jeff and Amazon aren't only about making sales. They also put a lot of emphasis on building long-term deep connections with all of the customers. Those kind of connections that really make them want to come back. And exactly this is something that you can do with your Etsy store as well. I myself have heard from hundreds of buyers saying that they come to Etsy specifically to shop with small businesses. So I would really try to make the most of that. Every time someone shops at your store, you have an opportunity to turn a one-time buyer into a super fan of your brand. Now there's lots and lots of different ways to do this, but one method that I personally have used and found to be very powerful and effective is to actually use social media platforms such as Instagram or TikTok, Facebook, you know them all. And what you can do is create profiles for your brand on these social media sites, which you then utilize to share your brand story. Explain a little bit more about yourself, about your creation process or your design process. Maybe even try to get viewers and followers involved in the creative processes. And of course, use it as a method to promote your products on new releases. This approach not only fosters a sense of community, but also keeps those communication lines buzzing as well. And just so you know, you don't need a massive following for this to be effective. So don't get disheartened if you don't have thousands and thousands of followers. What's most important is that you're attracting your target audience, however big or small that might be. And by providing regular updates, interactive posts, engaging content on these platforms to your followers, you're making your followers more part of your brand and bringing them in on your brand's journey as you're growing. Essentially, again, turning them from simple viewers or buyers into active followers and fans of your brand going forward. You also don't want to forget about your customers after they've made a purchase. After someone has purchased something from your store, this is actually a great opportunity to start building that long-lasting relationship with them. You already know they were interested in one or more of your products. What's not to say that they may be interested in other items that you're selling down the line? Again, there's lots of different ways in which you can continue to build that relationship even after a customer's bought something from you. Two things that I personally like to do is include a discount code post-purchase, so kind of a thank you that gets sent to the customer after they've bought something for future orders. And then one thing I love to do is to also include a personalized thank you note in the actual package that they're going to receive, so that they're opening the box and seeing that with their product. And this could simply be a friendly thank you note or a friendly message, all the way through to you providing a discount code for future orders. It's just a simple way to say thanks and also encourages them to come back. So really working on building that lasting relationship with your brand. Now the good news is, if you are doing print on demand, platforms such as Printify do actually provide you with the opportunity to now add custom package inserts as part of your delivery to customers. You can customize this to however you best see fit, and you can even add your discount codes if you'd like to as well. So I'd definitely recommend that you go and check that out and have a try. So there we have it, folks. Who knew we could learn so much from Jeff Bezos? If you haven't already, I would love it if you'd click that like button below to support me going forward. And also, if you'd like to see more content like this, I would love to have you on board. Please feel free to subscribe below.